What is my home park? What should be a relatively straightforward question for me actually isn't, as there are a few options that I have, and surprisingly, there are some parks that are almost exactly the same distance from my house. Find out where I call home in this review. Currently, I live in Conroe, Texas, which is north of Houston and above the woodlands in respect to Houston geography. When I lived here in the past, I considered my home park Conroe's Incredible Pizza, as that was the closest thing to an amusement park that I visited on a regular basis. And going back recently, it is a lot of fun, for not too bad of a price, all things considered. However, Log Ride won't add it as they claim it does not meet the minimum standards for a park, and I do feel like my home park needs to at least have a roller coaster. Conroe also hosts the Montgomery County Fair every year. While enjoyable, I went for the first time last year, I do feel that a home park needs to be a bit more on the permanent side. That leaves two Houston parks equal distance away from me, P6 Farm and Big Rivers Water Park and Adventure Park. Before the construction was finished on Highway 242, Big Rivers felt a lot further, but now they're both about a 30-minute drive from my house. Big Rivers is open more, and I did have a season pass there in 2024, though I have made a trip to P6 Farm during both previous fall seasons and their Easter event, since Cyclone is the better of the two coasters. With Big Rivers working to really transform into a full-fledged amusement park, I do want to lean towards them. But I have been disappointed in some of their marketing and communications with guests, so I'm just not overly in love or attached to that park like I might otherwise should be. Other Houstonian parks either don't have a current coaster or are over an hour away from me, so I'm just not going to consider them my home park. Though you can hear more about my thoughts on these coasters in my Roller Coasters of Houston video. As for my home Six Flags park, that gets complicated as well. My Six Flags Plus pass is based out of Hurricane Harbor Splashtown, which is in the roller coaster database due to its history as Hanna-Barbera land. Previously, all of my Six Flags passes had been based out of Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Even when Astroworld was around, we would drive to Six Flags Fiesta Texas to get our passes as an excuse to visit that beautiful park. Having lived in San Antonio for a year as well, I have a strong connection to that area. And mapping out Six Flags parks by distance, Fiesta Texas and Over Texas are equal miles away from my house, though since you have to drive through Houston to get to San Antonio, Over Texas and Dallas or Arlington is a 30-minute shorter drive. For my SeaWorld pass, my home park is SeaWorld San Antonio, and there's really no competition there, especially as a Platinum Pass from any other SeaWorld park is going to be way more expensive. As my channel is dedicated to promoting the roller coasters of Thailand, I also want to consider my home park while in Thailand. While living in Korat, the closest coaster to my house was Rift Faiha that I rode as a traveling coaster at the local festival. And when I moved back to Surin with my wife, these types of festivals will likely be the closest thing I have to a park with a coaster. For the Isan region as a whole, there are 3 parks in the roller coaster database, none of which have a current operating coaster. Scenic World is the largest, but they were hit hard by COVID, so it is difficult to love that park. Fantasia Lagoon is in the heart of the city of Korat, but is a water park that used to have a coaster a long time ago. Meifeng Water Park is so incredibly Isan that my heart has to gravitate towards it, even if it is in a far corner of the Isan region of Thailand, and has lost a lot of its amusement attractions due to those COVID closures. In Thailand, though, almost everyone has Dreamworld as their home park. It is the main family park for the entire country. So even if it is not geographically closest to where I will live in Thailand, there's a very strong case that it's just going to end up being what I call my home park when I move back there. Overall, what do I consider my home park? Even making this video, this is still a tough question for me. For now, I'll consider P6 Farm as my home park, since it is about a mile closer than Big Rivers, and I just haven't bothered to renew my Big Rivers season pass yet. For Six Flags parks, Over Texas appears to be my home park for now. Despite being my favorite amusement park in Texas, it does feel really weird saying that, as I'm so used to San Antonio and Fiesta Texas being my home Six Flags park. Where is your home park? Do you have any parks that are like strangely equal distances away from you? Let me know, and as always, Kapkun Krap.